Hello and welcome back to Jacob's Toys. Please do like, share, subscribe and all of those things. All support to the channel is very much appreciated. I haven't done an unboxing video for quite a while, but I got this He-Man Masters of the Universe 40th Anniversary Edition figure, which isn't a new figure out. It's been out for quite some time now, but it just looked very cool and I needed a classic kind of He-Man to go kind of front and centre of my Masters of the Universe collection, and this one ticked all the boxes. So I thought I'd do a quick video on him because I'm excited. This is kind of, you know, going back to the days when I collected He-Man as a kid. Straight out of the box, he looks pretty cool. He's got a few accessories, a couple of additional hands. Of course, comes with all the accessories that the original figure came with, but this figure is highly articulated, whereas the old ones, obviously back in the 80s, were very static, kind of 5 POA. But I'm really pleased that they've kind of kept it true to the original source material. Like the sword and the shield literally look like modern versions of what we had back in the day, and that makes me very happy indeed. I mean, this is a very awesome but very basic sword sculpt. It's got kind of a bit of a glossy finish as well, which gives it a bit of a shine. I don't know if that is intentional or not. Now this is He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe, but he's held into this clamshell kind of packaging by a couple of plastic ties. I really should cut these, but I'm too excited, so I'm just going to kind of rip them open and pull him out. And of course he comes with the axe as well. Now the axe isn't the weapon that you see He-Man holding very often, but that original figure did come with a sword, an axe, and of course the shield, so I'm really glad that they included it. It's got quite a few nice little details in it as well. Here he is. Now I'm just going to kind of put him back into a vanilla pose, because in the box he's kind of posed in a bit of a dynamic pose, and he makes him look a lot taller than he actually was. I'm really pleased with this. This is a modern version of that original figure. There's no two ways about it. They've got all of the details exactly right, even down to the little kind of hook here on his back so that you can put the sword in it. I'm not sure if that comes off. Now his head isn't squidgy. That was the big question I was going to have, because as you remember, those figures back in the 80s had very kind of spongy, squidgy heads, and I kind of expected this one to have that as well, but they've given us a solid head, which is absolutely fine. Now, as I said, all the details are there. It really does live up to the expectations and kind of, you know, what I was expecting. It is all pinless, which is a really nice touch. I'm not going to lie, I wasn't sure whether it was going to be pinless or not, but the fact that it is pinless and there's a lot of kind of flesh on show does make a big difference. Now normally I'm not one to kind of complain too much about pins and pinless, but on figures that, you know, bare flesh is exposed, it does make a big difference. Now the shield's interesting. It's got this kind of little clip out bit here, so you don't have to mess around with pulling hands off and stuff, and you can kind of get his hand in there to grip the shield, and then it just pushes back into the shield like so. Now, I didn't see that from when I unboxed it, but that actually makes putting the shield on and off quite easy. Now I'm assuming that's intentional. I'm assuming that's not just a bit of glue that's come away, but either way you could quite easily kind of fix it in place with a little bit of glue if you didn't like that. But I don't know, really, it's quite a basic figure, but it works. It really does work. Like, holding it feels very nostalgic. It feels very much like a He-Man figure from my childhood, but as I said, it's highly articulated. So when we say highly articulated, it's got obviously articulation in the wrists, it's got a double jointed elbow, it's got a bicep swivel, it's got a shoulder swivel, it's got a chest swivel as well, it's got a head, like a neck swivel, it's got kind of your legs go outwards. I don't know what that's called, but you know, you can make them do the splits if you want. It's got a thigh swivel, it's got a double jointed knee, it's got a calf stroke boot swivel, and then of course it's got articulation in the ankles as well, so you could get him into quite a lot of dynamic poses. Now this isn't a realistic looking figure. Well, I suppose the body actually is quite realistic, but I always thought of He-Man's face and hair as quite unrealistic looking, but actually looking at it in more detail, it is actually quite a realistic figure. But the mark out for me is definitely the weapons. I think that was going to make or break this kind of retro throwback figure, because as you remember, the weapons back in the day were solid colours. So you had like a silver sword or a grey sword for He-Man, you had your purple sword for Skeletor, and then the other corresponding Like Triclops had like a green sword, but it was just a solid coloured weapon, and I'm really pleased that they didn't try to go hyper realistic with the weapons in this one, because although it would have looked quite cool, it would have taken away from the nostalgic element of what this figure is. But you can pick him up now for pretty much decent money. He's not overly expensive to pick up. I think you can get him for about £20 now, depending where you shop. But yeah, he's cool. Here he is next to one of the Skeletors that I've got from the Masterverse line, and they're about head to head. They're about shoulder to shoulder. But they look really cool together. This just looks like a modern version of what I had as a kid, and I, for one, am really made up with the fact that it's available, that they've actually given us that kind of modern, affordable version of He-Man. Yeah, there's not a huge amount more I can say. I was a massive Masters of the Universe fan as a kid. Been watching it a lot recently, with obviously the re-release of the Revelations animations. But going back and watching those old cartoons, I wanted a figure that would fall in line with some of the other figures that I've got in my collection. So going back and getting like a retro classic version of He-Man wouldn't have kind of fit. And of course, if you've got the Revelations Battle Cat, you can put He-Man on top of that as well, and it looks really cool. But there we go. Just a little bit of a trip down memory lane for me. Really pleased with this figure. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. I'll see you soon.